Hello, my name is Mia Zamorano. I am a mental health therapist and a performance consultant for highly competitive, highly driven athletes, business professionals, entrepreneurs, and anyone in between that's really just looking to improve how they show up to life, specific events, tasks, functions, and anything else. So, today, my topic that I want to talk about is why do I feel nervous before I perform? Why do I anticipate my performance? And it's something that I see at every level in every context. So, whether it's a presentation as a business professional, whether it's launching something as an entrepreneur, whether it's a pregame performance as an athlete, I get this question, right? What is the deal with performance anxiety? Why do I anticipate so much, or why do I feel nervous or so jittery before this event? I'm going to tell you. While it's a really loaded answer, I'm going to give you kind of like the cheat sheet of it because I feel like the more we understand something, the less we judge it. And then the more we can problem solve for it or address it more effectively. So, when you have an event, right, your brain is always going to try to figure out if it's safe. We're creatures wired for survival. That's just how it is. So, we need to accept that. When something is presented to you, any type of event, you're going to create some kind of perception of the event. Now, for most of us, we would like to do well with our performance, right? So what the fear is that gets instilled before this big event, right, is that what happens if? What happens if I mess up? What happens if this doesn't go well? What happens if I fail? So your brain is trying to protect you from that. And the anxiety you're experiencing is kind of letting you know, like, do we really want to do this? Is it worth avoiding this thing? Now, of course, it's not something we want to avoid when it comes to our performance and necessary task or something that's going to move us forward. So it's a really tough kind of inter battle if we're not aware of it, that our brain really is just trying to cue us to something significant is going on. If we don't know how to interpret that or how to cope with that notification, if you will, that's where we get the anxiety, right? We're not sure how to address it or how to prepare for it. And again, where we're wired for survival, our brain doesn't necessarily understand how to discern an actual threat from a perceived threat, right? Whether it's sitting in traffic or taking a test or, God forbid, running away from a five-alarm fire, the same alert system internally happens. So that's why you're feeling a little bit of that. Now, again, we're also kind of social creatures where you're going to want to be accepted, acknowledged, notified, and be successful, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We're pack animals. We weren't necessarily meant to function in isolation. So it's really important that we're compassionate with ourselves. And when we notice this anxiety, instead of judging it or trying to just shove it under the rug, we say, okay, this is happening because this is obviously something I care about. It's something I want to do well with, and it's something I don't want to fail in. Now, I can have a million conversations on failure. If you've heard my podcast features, I've certainly talked about it. But failure is also something we want to work on an interpretation with, and I'll talk about that in another video. But just giving yourself permission to show up and plan ahead, right? Like, how can I prepare myself so that this fear of feeling unprepared is less, or that when I do experience the fear, I can understand that it's really just telling me that there's something significant happening and I want to do well with it. And here's how I can, right? There's different ways to reverse that process in your body, that almost fight or flight that you experience. Again, fight or flight. Do I want to get away from this situation or do I need to fight this situation? If you're going to be successful, we have to address it head on. So there are a ton of skills that we can use. More videos to come on that too. But I just wanted to come on and normalize performance anxiety and just nervousness before, help us to understand why, what our brain's trying to tell us, so that you can feel a bit more comfortable in addressing it and just understanding the start of creating a new narrative that this is important to me. It's something I can do. It's something I know how to prepare for. And again, if you don't, that's fine too. That's where you get support either from a coach or a consultant or a performance expert. So if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear about it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. For more content, there will be plenty more coming your way. Like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.